Mr. President, I rise to discuss bipartisan legislation that I have introduced with Senator Lujan, which would grant a federal charter to the National American Indian Veterans Incorporated, known as NAIV. The NAIV was chartered in 2004 with headquarters located on the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribal Reservation in South Dakota. The NAIV was originally established as a result of a request by former Senators Akaka, Inouye, and Nighthorse Campbell during a Senate Veterans Affairs Committee hearing in 2004. At that time, no Native American veterans organization had ever received a congressional charter. Sadly, that remains the case today, nearly 20 years later, but that omission would be fixed by this legislation. The NAIV is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that operates solely for the charitable, literary, educational, scientific, patriotic, and civil improvement purposes. It provides a voice to Native American veterans whose unique needs are not always represented adequately by other organizations. Mr. President, Native Americans are the highest serving race per capita in the U.S. Armed Forces, often serving at a rate 5 times over the national average, and have served with distinction in every U.S. conflict over the last 200 years. They also have some of the highest concentration of women service members. According to a 2020 VA statistics report, there are over 140,000 Native American veterans across the nation today. Discussions with tribal leaders would indicate that this number is most likely an undercount, and the true number likely approaches 200,000. The NAIV serves the interests and needs of Native veterans in all 50 states. It conducts activities in collaboration with its national leadership and its 14 regional offices. Tribes rotate to host regional and state NAIV meetings. This is all done in a decentralized manner, respecting the independence and sovereignty of all tribal nations. NAIV often has been the only national Native American veterans organization invited to testify before Congress on issues facing Native veterans nationwide. NAIV works to make sure that our Native American veterans receive the benefits, compensation, and resources that they have earned. Among its activities, NAIV provided critical support for construction of an American Indian Veterans Memorial at the Riverside National Cemetery in California. In addition, COVID-19 had a significant impact on tribal reservations, and the NAIV secured over 5 million masks, thousands of gallons of hand sanitizer and personal protective equipment to respond to the pandemic. It distributed these critical resources to over 375 tribes in 30 states at no cost to our veterans or their tribes. NAIV also serves on the Disaster Response and Recovery Working Group of the SEC Broadband Deployment Advisory Committee and has been a tireless advocate of providing broadband access to tribal communities throughout the nation. Mr. President, last week we celebrated Veterans Day, an opportunity to honor our veterans for their service. Also, last week, we finally saw the dedication of the National Native American Veterans Memorial on the National Mall here in D.C. While the Native American Veterans Memorial actually opened in 2020, due to COVID, the dedication did not occur until this year. I believe we have the opportunity today to address another overdue recognition of our Native American veterans by finally approving the federal charter for the National American Indian Veterans Incorporated to recognize all the work the organization does on behalf of our Native American veterans. Mr. President, notwithstanding Rule 22, I ask unanimous consent that the Judiciary Committee be discharged from further consideration of S 1725, and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. Further, that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table. Mr. President.
Senator from South Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say how pleased I am to finally see this bill pass the United States Senate. I want to underscore again the significance of recognizing the important work done by the NAIV to benefit our Native American veterans. I particularly want to recognize the work done by Mr. Don Loudner of Mitchell, South Dakota, who has led the NAIV since its inception in 2004. Don has served as an Army officer and as a combat veteran of the Korean War. He served with my father in the National Guard in South Dakota as well. He also served in the Bureau of Indian Affairs and Census Bureau and has spent decades supporting our Native American veterans. I want to thank him for his 70 years of service to our nation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Senator from Hawaii.
I would just like to commend my colleague for his work with the Native American veterans and for working with me to pass S7, which is a very necessary bill for Native Hawaiian women. Aloha.
Senator from South Dakota.
I would also like to thank Senator Hirono for the open communication that we have received in coordinating and successfully passing these pieces of legislation. Thank you.